Hey guys, this is for week 15. We ended our day with a pizza party, but before we got into our pizza, we were able to learn so much from our memory work, so let's talk about that first. Hey guys, this is for cycle 2, week 15 memory work, starting off with history. This week we learned about World War I countries. And so for our World War I sign, we learned this earlier. We're just going to do WW1. So we have during World War I. Then with our other hands, we're just going to do Great Britain, France, and Russia. So we're just going to do 1, 2, 3 to count those 3 countries. So we have during World War I, Great Britain, France, and Russia. Then for we're allies, you're going to take 3 fingers on both sides and interlock them. We're allies. And then for fought against, we're just going to punch out and fought against Austria-Hungary, put this hand out, and Germany, put your other hand out, which were called the Central Powers. Show me those muscles. Then in 1917, hold up 7 fingers. In 1917, the United States, for United States, we're just going to salute, entered the war, do our war sign. And then for assisting the Allies, we're just going to interlock our fingers again. So let's go over that and then we will sing it. So during World War I, Great Britain, France, and Russia were allies and fought against Austria-Hungary and Germany, which were called the Central Powers. In 1917, the United States entered the war, assisting the Allies. All right, so let's sing it. Here we go. During World War I, Great Britain, France, and Russia were allies and fought against Austria-Hungary and Germany, which were called the Central Powers. In 1917, the United States entered the war, assisting the Allies. All right, so that was history. Then Latin this week was our repeat of imperfect tense. So we know this already, but as our review, we go through it, starting with bomba spot, bombus batis bont, bomba spot, bombus batis bont. First conjugation, imperfect tense. So that was Latin, and we sang it through. We sang it slowly, then we sang it faster, then we sang it faster and faster, as fast as we could go. And then moving to English, we learned 4 purposes of sentences. So there are 4 reasons why we write different sentences. The first one is declarative, and for this one, you're going to put your hands by your mouth and go, declarative, and you're going to say it as loudly as you can. Then our next one is exclamatory, and this is something exciting, something that you're going to exclaim. So for this, we're going to shoot our arms up in the air and go exclamatory. Then our next one is interrogative, and this is like we're asking questions over and over again. So we're going to put our finger out and go interrogative. Then our next one is imperative, and this means it is important and we need people to be aware of it. So we're going to wiggle our fingers and say imperative. So going through that again, 4 purposes of sentences are declarative, exclamatory, interrogative, and imperative. Then for science this week, we learned what are 2 forms of energy. 2 forms of energy are kinetic and potential. So we played red light, green light with this game. So kinetic means movement. So that was our green light, and potential means to stop. So that is what we did for our red light. And so for kinetic, we were running, and then I would yell potential, and everybody would have to stop. And so we just did that back and forth for our game for science. Then for math, we learned metric measurements. And so it goes to this tune. It goes 10 millimeters equals 1 centimeter, 100 centimeters equals 1 meter, 1,000 meters equals 1 kilometer. These are metric measurements. So for that, we sing that song, and then if you can, we're just going to flash the numbers as we do it. So we go 10 millimeters equals 1 centimeter, 100 centimeters equals 1 meter, 1,000 meters equals 1 kilometer. These are metric measurements. All right, so that was math. Then geography this week, we flipped to this part of our map instead of this one. And we're going to be in this pink area right here. Our first one was Turkey, and so we put an X on Turkey. It is right underneath Europe. Then right beside that is Cyprus, and it's teeny tiny. It's so hard to see, but it is in the Mediterranean Sea right beside Turkey. Then Syria is right underneath Turkey, and we put a dot inside of Syria, which is underneath Turkey as well. Then Iraq we colored in, and it is the lighter pink beside Syria. And then our last one was Iran, and we just circled this one, and this one was a lot easier to see because it is bigger, and so we just circled that one. So that was geography this week. And then for timeline, we started off with Japan's isolation. So for this one, we just took our hands and we went like this. It's kind of like to do the shape of the island of Japan. So Japan's isolation. Then our next one is Jamestown and Plymouth Colony founded. So for this, we're going to draw a J with our pinky. So Jamestown, and then a P for Plymouth, which is 2 fingers. Bring them down, put your thumb in the middle. So Plymouth Colonies. And then for founded, you're going to make a fist, put it on your hand, and then just bring it down, down, down. So we do Jamestown and Plymouth Colonies founded. Then our next one is a new age. It is the age of enlightenment. So for this, you're going to put your hands, close your fingers by your eyes, and then open them. And then open your eyes as wide as you can. So we're going to go age of enlightenment. And that is circa 1650 to circa 1800. Then our next one is Hudson's Bay Company. For this, you're going to make an H for Hudson. And then for Bay Company, you're just going to do a wave in the water. So Hudson's Bay Company. Then our next one is First Great Awakening. So you're going to hold up the number 1 for first. And then for Great Awakening, do the same thing that we did for Age of Enlightenment, which is fingers by your eyes and then open them. So First Great Awakening. Then our next one is Classical Period of the Arts. And this was a lot of structure. And so for this, we're going to go Classical Period of the Arts. And then our last one is the 7 Years' War. So for this, you're going to hold up the number 7 and then do our sign for war. So the 7 Years' War. All right, so let's go through that all, starting with Japan's isolation. So here we go. Japan's isolation. Jamestown and Plymouth Colonies founded. Age of Enlightenment. Hudson's Bay Company. First Great Awakening. Classical Period of the Arts. The 7 Years' War. So that was timeline, and that is all for our memory work. Then for fine arts this week, we learned about Degas. And the main thing that we learned about Degas is that he liked to show motion in his paintings and in his artwork. And so one of his paintings was one of ballerinas, and so we created a ballerina dancer. And so we have like her big skirt here. We've got 1 foot down and 1 foot back in the air, her arms, and then we have the circle just kind of showing movement. And then if you look a little bit closer, you can see her face. Her eyes are just closed and her head is pointed up. And so you guys did really well with our art this week. And then for science, we had our week 15, and we had our bottle organ. So for this, we had 6 different bottles, or 6 different glass bottles, and some of them had different amounts of water in each of them. So our first bottle had no water in it. The next one just had a little splash of water, and then the bottles just kept getting more and more water, and then our last one was almost full with water. And so the first thing that we talked about was sound. What is sound? And then we talked about who sings, who can sing in a really high voice, who sings in a really low voice, and talked about the different pitch with that. Then we talked about what is going to happen if I took the metal spoon that we had and I tapped it on the side of the glasses. Would they make the same sounds? And so with our empty bottle, we wanted to see, would this make a high sound or a low sound? And then with the bottle that had the most water in it, was that going to make a higher or a lower sound? And so we saw that the bottle with no water and the least amount of water made a really high sound. And as we took the spoon across all of them, when we got to the bottle with the most water, it had a deeper pitch to it. And so that was our fun experiment. We were able to play it so it sounded like a xylophone, and be able to just to hear the different pitches in the bottles because of the water filling it up. So that was it for science, and that is it for week 15. I will see you guys back for week 16. Have a great week. Bye.